From Mothman and Nessie to the spirit that haunts your home, welcome to Bob After Dark, a podcast about legends, lore, and the supernatural. So turn your lights down and your volume up and enjoy your trip to the shadows.
A big mechanism at Amazon is collecting the voice of your customer. Earn trust.
Oh, hey there, children of the night, and welcome to Bob After Dark, the show that takes you into the shadows and goes and says hello everything that goes bump in the night. I'm your host with the most that enjoys toast, Bob, and alongside of me, as always, is my ever wonderful, ever vampiric, ever cape-wearing and the smile-wearing heartthrob Bob After Dark himself. My friend, my producer, Count Panic himself. Oh, hey there, Count Panic.
Oh, hey there, Bob. And Bob, yes, happy to be here on this very special episode of Bob After
This
Dark.
is a very special episode. Very special episode.
Where the veil is
We're close. Very close. You could say it legitimately.
It's at its thinnest.
Yes. From like now until next Monday, the veil is going to be paper thin, Count Panic.
Very thin, Bob. It's going to be the veil thinning is as we speak right here, as we stand. The veil is thinning.
Sitting.
But very special episode. We're sitting.
You know, today is a special episode because, well, it's our anniversary that you just set your headphones down for and walking away. So let's just forget what you were going to say. I hope it was nothing important. This is great. I love this. So anyway, this week's a very special episode. It's very important. It's our anniversary episode. And maybe just based on you guys hearing our introduction, you probably think this is episode 1. Believe it or not, we've been around for 3 years. I can't hear you, Count Panic. Oh, no.
It's hard to believe,
Hey, you want to start over? Oh, hey there, everybody. Welcome to Bob After Dark.
We'll learn after 3 years. We'll finally learn one day. We'll learn one day.
So, because it's our anniversary,
Yeah.
I brought back somebody just for the episode, the very first co-host of Bob After Dark. He's not Australian, so that only leaves one other person.
Process of elimination.
Process of elimination.
Yes. Who do we got?
Oh, hey there. Who are you?
Oi! Yeah, it's. Do you know what? It's nice to be back here.
Who are you? You're just jumping right in. We have new fans.
Okay. To the fans, if you don't know, you should know. My name is Steve Michaels, and as Bob said, I am the original co-host of Bob After Dark.
Yes, this was the original, the first co-host back in the day.
It's been a minute. It still feels like day one.
As you can see from our pictures. By the way, I'm not editing any of that out.
No, leave it all.
With our crew of dozens behind the scenes, I mean you've leveled up, Bob. Like you've got catering now.
Yeah, we had some pears.
We had pears. We had some chocolate covered strawberries. Cherries, chocolate covered cherries, even better. I mean it's like you're moving up in the world, Bob, and it's nice to be back. And I've missed you, Count Panic. I have missed you.
I missed you too, Steve.
And let's how about, what do you say, for old time's sake, we have some fun tonight?
Oh, I think fun is the only thing in the vocabulary tonight. Folks, if this is your first time ever watching or listening to Bob After Dark, we are your weekly show where we talk about legends, lore, and supernatural, things that go bump in the night, lights in the sky, weird cryptid stories, and of course, Count Panic's favorite color plaid to wear during fall.
Favorite color, plaid. Well, my favorite color is blue, but fall, maybe I would go with a orange-red tint, maybe. A hue? You call it a hue?
That would be the hue.
We'll call it a hue.
I'm sure Steve will jump right in and be like, that's not the hue.
Is it not the hue?
I mean, I don't know. I don't wear plaid. I'm not a lumberjack, so I don't have a. I don't. It looks good on you, though, Bob.
By the way, what a snazzy shirt.
Looks great. Are you seeing this, Panic?
Are you saying the snazzy shirt because I'm wearing a Count Panic shirt?
Oh, that's what it is. That's what it is.
Yes, I'm like the Al Borman of Bob After Dark, even though it's my show. Realistically, I'm still the Al Borman. You're Tim the Tool Man.
I do want to point out, it's been 3 years and you still have never worn a Steve Michaels shirt on the show.
I have worn a Steve Michaels shirt. I couldn't find mine before I left today. I was going to wear it.
I'm sure you couldn't.
I seriously couldn't. Thanks, Steve.
It's in the trunk of your car, used as the rag. No, it's fine. It's okay. I'm not mad. I'm just a little bitter.
Well, that's great. So the show wouldn't continue if we didn't get the Count Panic's weekend update. So let's get that real quick.
Oh, Bob, it was a very eventful week, and I was maybe overexerted myself for most of the weekend. But a lot of Halloween activities took place. I went on a ghost train.
A ghost train?
In Heston, Indiana, there's a steam train museum out there on the outside. And they have a train that runs. But in October, it turns into a ghost train. They have this crazy backstory where a lumberjack many years ago killed the conductor, killed some passengers. And on some trips, he still may linger on. Bob, Steve, guess what happened when I was on the train?
What happened when you were on the train?
The killer lumberjack showed up.
Oh, no! Did you have to give him the old 1-2?
I said, get out of here. I'm trying to enjoy the train right here.
God.
Yeah, you little scoundrel.
Can you turn an undead vampire more undead as a vampire?
I don't know. They were trying to do it yesterday, or Saturday, though, I mean, with the ghost train. But, again, beautiful weekend. It's the fall. The hues of the trees are changing. And that was nice to take in as well, too. Hues of the trees, right? Hues of the trees.
Is that the word of the day? Hues.
Hues.
You know, we have fans that like to. You know how people give me a lot of stuff about some things, things I say sometimes that are goofy.
Yes.
You should ask him about What would you say? The dissolving land and the 52 states.
Oh, yeah. What was that?
Well, I mean, as king of pierogies, he's able to.
He's the king. He is Mr. Pierogi now. You know.
King.
King. Steve upgraded me to king.
I've upgraded him to king.
But Mr. the King.
I think I could do that. Like I'm only here like once a year. I think I could. I get to do those things.
Makes sense.
So how? Other than that, the ghost train experience. Do you recommend it?
Fantastic. They do a great job down in Heston. But yeah, it's a beautiful weekend to go out and explore the fall hues. Bob, how about you?
The fall hues. My weekend was pretty nice. Me and the Queen of the Night went mini golfing. We went and did a spooky decorated house tour, which was a lot of fun. And then I went and hung out with the Windy City Ghostbusters on Sunday at an event in, not Buffalo Grove, or Downers Grove, one of the groves. I was in Downers Grove. We did an event at the library, so the kids were doing trick-or-treating at the library, so I went and hung out with the Ghostbusters for a little bit. It was a good time. And now back here, and we're at the spooky season, which is great. And it's really cool to be here live and being back home. And now I would ask you your weekend update, but you'd have to give me like 50 of them. So let's just
we got time, right? I mean,
I'm sure you don't remember every weekend from the past, like however long it's been since I've seen you on the show.
That sounds like a challenge.
Can you just give me a general gist what's been going on?
Yeah, it's been a minute. It's been about a year's worth of minutes.
Yes.
Been busy with OVW wrestling down in Louisville. Been busy up here in Chicago with Rocket Pro Wrestling out of Joliet and Chicagoland Championship Wrestling out of Michigan City.
Oh, that's great.
Having a lot of good matches there. Past weekend, I ended up I spent some time also with the Windy City Ghostbusters. Great crew, great team they got there.
I wonder who their leads are. They're pretty cool people.
I'm not breaking kayfabe here, brother. But they got a good team. They got a good team out there. Proud of them. And went to Boo at the Zoo at Brookfield Zoo.
How was that? I've never been.
It's nice. They've got a bunch of like spooky inflatables up. They had like a giant witch that looked like Grunty from Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, I appreciate the Grunty reference.
It was it was fun. And then went to the pumpkin patch yesterday and got myself some pumpkins finally.
Now the question on everybody's mind is, did you do the Mold-A-Rama when you were there?
I did all of the special Mold-A-Ramas, and
Excellent.
so I got all of the spooky Halloween Mold-A-Ramas that are exclusive at Brookfield Zoo currently.
Brookfield Zoo, if you're looking to sponsor a paranormal show, we're the show for you.
I've been going to you every year. throw this man a bone. He needs it.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
Well, animals, bones, I guess.
Dude,
Dog bones.
thanks, guys.
No, it was a great time. Had a blast out there, and just excited to be back here to kick off year 3.
It's great, folks. So we go back and forth. Is it been 4 years? Has it been 3 years? Technically, it's been 4, but I can't count 2020, considering we didn't do the show for 9 months out of the year.
I
did the show, but it was like me solo, and it was not as exciting. I did a lot of experimental stuff. That was my Andy Warhol year.
Those were his Yoko years.
Those
that was
were
his
my,
Yoko
yes, my
year.
Yoko year.
You were doing a lot of like sound experiments.
Yeah, it was
Bob
an interesting
spent time with a yogi.
Yogi Bear.
He went. you did some time out in Nepal. Like it was nice. It was a nice year for Bob.
It was a good time. But no. So this is our anniversary episode. So it's pretty exciting. I'll share my heartfelt moment towards the end of the show, how I feel being back and how I feel doing my thing. I will say, because it wouldn't be fair if I didn't mention it, our anniversary is missing somebody very Australian. Oi. So Anthony, you're out there in the world doing Anthony stuff, throwing boomerangs and
punching wallabies
and fighting kangaroos for fun. So we do miss you, Anthony. It's not the same without you having an anniversary episode. But the show must go on, and we divide the show up into 2 parts, a couple parts. The first part, we do the weird, spooky news of the week. That's where you, the fans, submit articles to me about the weird, unusual, anything where it's a ghost sighting or a cryptid making it in the major news story, or even like encounters with lights in the sky, or weird advances on science that borderline on science fiction. And in great Steve fashion, Steve came prepared 30 seconds before he went live. He turns to me, he says, "You still do the news thing?" "Yeah, I do it every week." "Oh, what's up?" "We got a caller."
We do got a caller.
I'll take him live.
You want to take it live?
Yeah, we'll take him live.
Right, we'll take it live.
You're on the air, caller.
Hey, take me live, Bob.
John, you're on the air. Hello, John.
Hey, I just want to get my heartfelt thanks in earlier before you guys go on with the show. And Steve, nice to see you or hear you back.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
Was this and happy anniversary, Bob?
Oh, thank
you. And to Steve also. Was this kind of a planned reunion, or this just you happen to be in town?
Absolutely not.
It's never a planned reunion when you come to Bob and Steve.
John, I'll be honest. Me and Steve were on the phone earlier. It was kind of quiet for a few seconds. I'm like, "Man, are you in town?" "Yeah." "You want to come do the show?" "Yeah, sure." And then I was looking at my calendar. I'm like, "Wait a second, it's our anniversary show."
Well, what a coincidence!
Very much so.
I legitimately, this is a shoot. Like, I did not know that this was our anniversary show until I walked in the door of the studio, and Bob was like, "Hey, did you know this is the 3-year show?" And I was like, "Wish I would have dressed better."
Well,
I mean, I'm dressed.
I would have
nice.
I would have worn my Bob shirt.
Oh, that's great.
Well, how spooky is that? Huh? To come on a 3rd year anniversary and not really knowing it's been that time has gone by. Doesn't seem like 3 years, and maybe with COVID the 9 months you threw in there. But I was thinking too. In those years, I think I'm not even going to say 3. I think I missed twice calling in those 3 years.
Yeah,
and 9
don't count 2020 because I'm not.
Yeah, so you know what? I'm proud of my record because you guys are on the air, and I really enjoy listening to your stories the past 3 years. And seems like it was just yesterday. Seems like 3 years haven't gone by yet. But
oh, John, that's very nice of you.
Yeah,
John, you're just as much as a part of the family as we are.
Well, hey, I gotta say, I enjoy calling. I enjoy listening. But you guys are very interesting, and yeah, happy anniversary, and many more to you.
Oh, thanks, John. We appreciate that.
Thanks for calling in, John.
Take care.
Do you want to be like John, folks? And are you okay over there?
I almost fell my chair.
Do you want to be like John and hear your voice on the air and wish us a happy anniversary? Would you like to say hi to Steve? 219-845-1100. That's 219-845-1100. 1100. Don't call in next week thinking you're going to say hi to Steve, because Steve won't be here.
Or call in next week asking for me and let Bob know that Steve Michaels is the hottest commodity going today on Bob After Dark.
Okay.
After Bob and Panic.
Yeah, I was going to say. That's
the third biggest commodity.
And John.
After the fourth biggest commodity on Bob After Dark.
But anyhow, as we were saying, in the great Steve Michaels fashion, he looks at me and says, "Oh, you still do the news thing?" I said, "Yeah." And Steve's like, "Oh, are you doing this?" I'm like, "No." Okay, no problem. I got it. So, I would be a terrible, terrible host if I didn't let my guest go first.
Do you know what? Some things never change, Bob. And me showing up as fully prepared as possible
fully.
is one of those things that will never change. And I do have a news article for the week.
Oh, excellent. If it's about the square watermelons, we did that one a couple weeks ago.
Have you ever had a square watermelon?
No, because now they're making square watermelons tiny. As that was my news article.
That's too far. That's too far.
Just go move on with your news article.
Okay. So my news article is from a legitimate source, Bob, in space.com.
Space.com, you say?
Space.com.
Is that a legitimate website?
It is a legitimate website.
Excellent.
Space.com is your go-to place for space news. It is NASA recently announced that they are creating a team to investigate unidentified aerial phenomenon, or UFOs, as they're more traditionally called. They have announced who their 16-person team will consist of.
Are you on it?
Do you know what, Bob? I petitioned. I wrote letters. I forgot to put stamps on them, so I don't think they got there.
I'm sorry for interrupting. By the way.
No, it's fine. Like, I made phone calls to people.
The first man bear in space.
I would love to be the first pro wrestler in space. If you're listening, NASA, first pro wrestler in space.
Or Elon, if you're listening.
Oh, Elon, come on, that's PR right there, man. We'll put on a match in space. I'll let you go over. I don't like. I'll take the pin. Like, you can beat me in space, Elon. It's all good.
Elon, if you're looking to sponsor a paranormal podcast, just hit me up. My DMs are open. Go on.
He has spent money on weirder things.
That's why I'm saying Elon. To the moon, Doge. Anyway, go on.
So this team has been announced. It's going to be a 16-person team. It is headed by an astrophysicist by the name of David Spergel. He's going to be the team chair. There are astronomers, computer scientists, oceanographers, astronauts, all aboard this team, which include this is how prepared I always am, Bob.
Yeah, that's great.
We have
yes.
You're making me nervous, Bob. You've got Nadia Drake, who's a freelance science journalist. You've got Mike Gold, who's the vice president of the Civil Space and External Affairs at Redwire. He was also previously a NASA assistant administrator. Scott Kelly, former NASA astronaut, test pilot, retired U.S. Navy captain. He's going to be on the team. Matt Mountain, who's the president of the Association of Universities for Research and Astronomy, and he's a telescope scientist at the James Webb Space Telescope. And you have the deputy executive director of the FAA, their Accident Investigation and Prevention for Aviation Safety Department, Warren Randolph. So, I mean, they have a very wide and varied team, all set to legitimately and scientifically investigate unexplained aerial phenomenon. Bob, this is huge news.
You're forgetting something.
What am I forgetting, Bob?
You need a specific person's thing before you get on your
Oh.
soapbox.
Uh-oh.
he's getting sad over there.
What?
The hashtag panic.
Oh.
Because then when you get on your soapbox after the take.
Oh, okay. Do you know what? It's
been a while.
It's been a minute.
Well, that's fine.
So
the
usually,
hashtag panic.
Yeah. So, okay. So, hashtag. Do you know what? I've never actually thrown it to panic.
You're
before.
supposed to. Yeah, you should all the time.
You
That's like
usually
job.
interrupt me,
I
then
know.
you're like, okay, well, what's hashtag panic?
I'm not interrupting
I've
you,
never
but
done
you're-
this.
but
I've never. In
you
3
pass it
years.
off, you say
okay,
hashtag panic
I'm
state.
trying to. I
Okay.
don't know. We're making this a lot tougher than we need to.
Okay, well then just say the words, then we can
Okay.
get back. Yes.
All right. So, since I've never done this before, what is hashtag panic state?
I'm glad you asked there, Steve. I've been waiting all night for you to ask me that question.
He's been waiting 3 years. He's turning into a ball.
But I appreciate that. Steve, I always get giddy when I hear the space news and what's the future. Of course, we bring up Elon, a man that loves his space exploration for sure. But, I want to take it back to the wrestling match on the moon here, essentially. Wouldn't that be great if you could have the first and only probably wrestling match in space?
But you want to tear your quads, brother.
No, you want to talk about me getting light for you? That's how I get light. I will take all the slams in 1/16 gravity. So if you want to body slam me, I'll body slam Bob in space.
Will Bob go over in space, though?
Yeah, that's the question.
It doesn't matter who goes over. It's all history.
It's history.
It's history.
Okay, now it goes back to
Okay,
you.
now it goes back. So that was hashtag panic state.
Now I can get my take.
Now it's
Back to me.
It's okay.
I don't actually have my own take. I'm just
So
interjecting here.
it's time for hashtag Bob's Corner.
Yeah, the Bob's Corner. Actually, I don't really have much to say other than based on what you're saying, and I read the article, but based on what you're saying, the people that they're hiring for this mission and the studies, I guess, going forward, it's not just one particular person that knows a little bit about this. It sounds like they pretty much have all their bases covered. The oceanographers, they have a telescope expert, so they have people that are focused in a bunch of different fields. So it's more or less like the best of the best are like going in and studying this topic.
100%, and that's what makes this so fascinating, Bob. Is that it's for years, and I know in the past year, we've discussed UFOs and UAPs and all that. There's never been true, serious scientific committees that have gotten together to actually research this. These are, like you said, these are people that are at the top of their fields. You have people that are one of the guys is a regular advisor to NASA on space exploration. You have people that know what they're talking about that are going to try and get to the bottom of what these things that everyone's seeing in the sky are.
Yeah.
And I think it's about time.
It's exciting, and NASA's like an actual funded project. So the fact that they're taking money out of what they would normally use it for and fund an organization like this, I think that's really important. Do they have a name for the team?
They don't. They don't have a special catchy name.
That's unfortunate. They missed out there.
They do. But it's a big deal. That NASA announced this. I believe it was last week that they were going to do this. And now that they've announced this actual team, this very much legitimizes what they're doing.
I'm gonna call it Project Narwhal.
I like it.
Okay, good. Project Narwhal. it is.
Project Narwhal.
All right. Let's move on then. My next news story.
Do I have to throw it to you, back to you? How are we doing this now?
You could so you could be like, oh, Bob,
Okay.
do you have articles now?
Bob, do you have articles now?
I do actually.
Oh,
it's my show, so I have to come.
Oh,
prepared.
that makes sense. So please,
I'm actually going to be talking probably about the most important news story we're going to be talking about tonight.
I'm ready for this.
Okay. Thank you, Queen of the Night, for sending in this article to me. It is my particular article has been spread around the world, but I got this from IFL Science. You probably understand what that means.
Yes, I'm a big fan of IFL Science.
IFL Science, written by James Felton, senior staff writer there.
That was the guy that played Malfoy?
No, that was. Thanks, you threw me off on my rails.
I'm sorry.
That's James Patterson.
That's a writer.
Oh, folks, I don't know who actually played Draco Malfoy, so I'm sure I'll get all the little Harry Potter fans will be hitting up that email later and be giving me a lot of heck for it. But anyway, an owl steals a stick horse and flies it around the neighborhood like a witch on a broomstick. Okay.
This is the news for the week.
This is the first article of the week. An owl is
Buckle up, folks.
An owl has kicked off Halloween by stealing a toy stick horse, also known as a hobby horse, and riding it around like a witch on a broomstick. The great horned owl took the horse from an unknown resident of Eureka, Illinois, before being captured on film by resident Eric Lind. Lynn's mother had been called by one of the neighbors to tell her to look up at that pine tree. Lynn told Newsweek, so this made it all the way to Newsweek. And you're telling me it's not a legit story?
I didn't know Newsweek was still a thing. Continue.
Big deal. The neighbors could not tell what the owl was holding, but Lind and his mother knew right away. Current situation at my parents' house, Lind wrote on Facebook. The young neighborhood owl has stolen this stick horse and is flying around the neighborhood with it. He added that the stick horse was not his own, writing, if your child is missing their stick horse, you'll have to talk to the owl. Pictures of the theft and joyriding went viral on several platforms. Several users suggested that one of the images of the owl flying with its prize was fake, but they are stills from the video that Linda updated. In an update on Facebook, Linda explained that after some people had expressed concern, he believes the owl was not entangled in a toy horse reins, as he witnessed the bird chirping its changing its grip on the toy. The owl is part of the family of owls that have been in the neighborhood for about 6 months now, and this is one of the young owls, he wrote. Adding, if someone sees the owl is in danger or believes it's hurt, I'm sure the proper authorities would be contacted. Hashtag panic.
So this owl is just a thief, though, right? That's it, right?
The owl stole the broomstick and was flying it around like a witch, man.
Well, that's kind of spooky.
Neither one of you find the merit in this story. It's not every story has to be.
This is riveting stuff, Bob.
Well, I thought it was a great story. Queen and I even found it. So I appreciate that people
But I steal a hobby horse, I'm arrested.
You're also not a cute owl.
Well, that's not what my mom says.
Oh.
But the thing with this is, again, although kind of spooky, because the owl is kind of a spooky bird. Majestic, but spooky at the end of the day. And it's a thief. And, you know, I guess it's kind of terrifying. You see an owl with a hobby horse in the sky. Yeah, it could add to your whole fearfulness of owls, I guess. So, in a way, Bob, I hope this owl doesn't continue this lifestyle. But this is kind of a spooky story.
We could say that the stick was not taken by foul play.
Oh. Wow. 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 Wow.
Okay, here's my question on this whole thing.
Yes. By the way, that was something I just came up with on the fly.
Are you proud of yourself?
I'm very proud. But what was your question?
Is it more terrifying to see the owl flapping, or is it more terrifying to just see a giant horse head flying at you in the sky?
The horse head.
Okay.
Because I'm thinking it's a Kelpie coming for me.
I haven't listened to your show in a while, Bob.
A
I don't know what that is.
A Kelpie is a face spirit that resembles a horse that hangs out by water and kidnaps children and drowns them.
Can we talk about that next show?
I did it last March for February.
Okay. Well, I don't remember that, so let's do it next show.
The Kelpies revisited. How much more can I talk about Kelpies? All right, let's move on. This next story.
No Johnny Appleseed.
That has been brought up 3 or 4 times in the past 6 months, believe it or not. That one over there does not let me forget it. I thought I was going to have this great story.
None of us will ever forget that, Bob. That was a night. Go into the archives and look that one up.
That is long gone. No one could listen to my Johnny Appleseed episode.
I'll find it, and I promise when I find it, it will be going on Bob After Dark's page.
Oh, yeah. Okay, let's move on here. So the story comes to us from Oddity Central, written by Spooky, the main author over there. This political party. They are. They write articles. This political party is led by an AI entity. The Synthetic Party is a new political group in Denmark that is committed to following the platform thought up by an AI known as Leader Lars, not to be confused with Lars from Metallica. Out of the political parties eyeing a seat in the Danish parliament this year, The synthetic party has to be the most intriguing by far. Founded in May by artist collective Computer Lars and nonprofit art and tech organization Mind Future Foundation, the new political party is dedicated to the following the policies of an AI programmed on policies of all Danish fringe parties since the 1970s that have never obtained a seat in parliament. Apart from promoting the presence of AI in politics, the synthetic party also aims to be an alternative for the 20% of the Danish population that never votes in elections. We're representing data of all fringe parties, so it is all the parties who try to get elected into parliament but don't have a seat. Asker, oh, that's a word. I don't speak Danish, folks. It's Staunae. You know how they like combine the A and the E letters to like make one letter? AES. The creator of the party told Motherboard magazine. So it's a person who has a foreign political vision of their own, and they would like to realize, but they usually don't have the money or resources to do so. Some of the policies that the synthetic party has proposed so far is establishing a new universal basic income for the Danish, which would bring out to being like $13,000 a month per citizen, amongst other things. I'm going to skip a lot of the article because we are not a political show here on Bob After Dark. I just wanted to touch base a little bit about, now that we're talking about putting an AI in a actual world government leader, because maybe a year or so ago we talked about Sophie, the AI robot. I don't think you were here for this one.
I was not.
Are you familiar with Sophie, the AI robot? You remember Sophie, right, Count?
I do remember.
So we talked about Sophie, and Sophie gained the right to vote as an actual individual. So now we have this AI which wants to round up every third party and make it one super party to get an involvement in, parliament. Keep your political stuff aside, folks. Don't turn your dials. We're not turning into that show. I just want to point out that this is really strange that they're just going to take all word from an AI bot. Pretty much, if you were talking to Cleverbot online and it gave you some, political advice, that's what you're following. And that is horrifying to me. Hashtag panic steak.
Yeah, I think I saw some recently, too, where I believe it was like a malfunction, though, where the robot was on the fritz, which I don't think we're at that point just yet, Bob, where we could have and I don't want to say this because they might come after me now, but full-on meetings with robots here. But I think we're working our way there, which, again, whenever we talk about a robot story, how much is too much, I ask, Bob? Should this even be happening?
I don't know. I don't know where I stand with it. It's a very
Kinda
odd.
creepy.
It's a very odd thing. I will say that according to Denmark's political system, you need 20,000 signatures required to make it eligible to run by this November's election, and they have 11.
Wow.
Not 11,000, just 11.
Yeah.
Do you want your own take? Remember, we are not a political show. This is just talking about the AI portion of it.
I know.
Okay.
I know. I know.
Okay.
I know. I've been here. This is year 3 for me. Granted, it's been on and off. It's year 3.
Yep.
I understand. I, for one, welcome our new robot overlords. And I am ready to bend to your whims and to your full needs.
Are you ready to wrestle a robot?
So all of us here at Bob After Dark salute you, robots.
Would you wrestle a robot?
I would let the robot win.
Oh. All right. Could you beat a robot, though?
I could never beat a robot. No one can beat robots. All hail the robots.
Excellent.
Didn't Sting beat a robot?
Let's move on. All right.
He beat RoboCop. Yeah, that was
RoboCop.
true.
All right, let's move on, folks. I got one more news article, and then we will dive into the lore of the week.
These have been fascinating, Bob.
Well,
I want you to know.
The owl one is still my favorite.
I'm dying to hear what number 3 is.
This one's actually a really interesting article, and it's true crimey at its core, but it is actually kind of horrifying. This was sent in from James from Peoria, and it takes place in Fremont, Michigan. This was written by the CIProud.com, the Central Illinois Pride, which is like a Peoria newspaper, but it's writing about this story from Fremont, Michigan. Investigators are looking for a Michigan family worried that no one has seen them for 4 days following a recent erratic behavior from their father. Anthony Suzette, Brandon, and Noah Kirolangio have not been heard from since Sunday, police in Fremont said Thursday. We don't see any signs of violence. We don't see any evidence of foul play. There's no sign of struggle inside the home. No sign of struggle around the home. The police are baffled. And everyone we've talked to all describe that this is extremely abnormal behavior from Tony and Suzette. Tony has spoken with his mother about 4 p.m. on Sunday, and on Monday she couldn't reach him. The family left behind Suzette's mother, who has dementia and needs full-time care. She was found walking around the neighborhood around 9 p.m. on Monday, Rodwell said. Neighbors called the police, and that's when the search began. The home's doors were locked, and the family's minivan was gone. Pets were also left behind. There's no signs of Tony's cell phone, though relatives told Wood that, Wood would have been the newspaper up in Michigan, that his wife's phone was still in the house. But police said the family's phones were turned off. There was a strange 911 call. Tony was exhibiting signs of paranoia shortly before the family vanished, Rodwell said. The chief said Tony called 911 just after midnight Sunday, and 2 officers went to his home. In the 911 call provided, he could be heard talking about the September 11th attacks, and he said he wanted to speak with someone he believed was working for the Fremont Police Department along with other U.S. authorities. Yes, everyone's okay, but I need the Fremont Police Department. I need some police protection immediately, he told the 911 operator. And then he told the 911 operator, this is of vital national interest. It is related to September 11th, and people want to erase me from the face of this earth. I'm not crazy. Then he mentions the Fremont police sergeant knows me. I'm a Christian. I just need some help, and the U.S. government will take it from here, he said. I know it sounds crazy. You don't have to have instructions for this. Please send someone that knows, the Fremont police sergeant, and can talk to the U.S. authorities, please. The 911 operator asked him if he had weapons. He said he had none. When she asked for a phone number, he answered with, we have no landline. The operator told him that she'd send the police to an address, and he says, can they come with their lights off so not to frighten my children, please? Yep, definitely, she said. Okay, I'll look for them and a knock on the door. And who, please try to send the police sergeant, even if he has to be woken up from his sleep. This is important. There is a copy of the 911 call on there. The officer spent 45 minutes talking to Tony and his wife to make sure everyone was safe and that mental illness wasn't putting anybody in jeopardy, Rodwell said. He said that the two were told that they should call the police again if they're concerned about anything. Relatives told the Michigan newspaper that they do not think Tony would hurt his family and rather believe that he may be trying to protect them. They said he was so troubled over the weekend that he said bad things were going to happen. The 2 sons were homeschooled and the family kept to themselves, relatives said. Becca Berrigan, the neighbor of the family, said that she found out they were missing on Facebook, and she said the community is in shock. The 2 boys were always walking with, I think, their grandmother. Super friendly boys. They waved everybody as you drove by. Super nice, she said. We've talked to them and their grandma at one point, and they walked by outside playing with the other kids and our kids, and they come by and talk to us, and it was a very sweet family. After asked if he was hopeful was found safety, Rodwell replied, I am. The police have no idea where they may be, whether they're still in West Michigan or the Midwest or somewhere else. The chief said he hopes to find Tony or Suzette will see the news and report and call the police or their family, let them know they're safe. They've lived in Fremont for about 4 years. And then they give a description of the family, and I hope they're found. They give information where people can reach out to. So if anybody has any information about the story, you guys could reach out to the Fremont Police Department, 231-924-2400. That is, I'm going to get hashtag Panics Take, and I'll give you my opinion after that.
Yeah, Bob. Again, we're not digging
It's not
too
a conspiracy
deep.
show.
Yeah, not a conspiracy show.
Theory,
So
no.
I know there's all
Yep.
ways you could take this here, but very eerie, Bob. It does really make you think. Sometimes these conspiracies, they may sound far-fetched, but how much is really based in the truth for somebody? Is again, not getting too deep into the weeds, but I can maybe see a case for this one.
Hysteria is a very scary thing, and it's a very real thing. And the reason why I bring this up is because it's not just people who are into the conspiracy theory on what this gentleman was talking about. But even in the paranormal world, people believe that there's entities following them, and then they disappear out in the, then they just disappear into thin air. Make sure my whole point on this is to make sure you're checking in on people, because things like this happen. Sometimes people dive a little too deep into the world of the unknown, and they look in a void, and now they think that the entire world is out for them, or the unknown is out to get them. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, first off, I fully hope that family is found safely, and healthily. Mental health is a very important thing.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's a very important issue. We make a lot of jokes on this show. This is something that I think is key and is important to kind of bring down the mood a little bit, and just say, if you know somebody that is going through a rough time, if you know somebody that may be dealing with some mental health issues, make sure that they know that they're not alone. Let them know that there's people that care about them. Let them know that there's people that love them, and just be there to support them. Don't treat them like they're crazy. Be there and support them. Love them. Care for them. You may be their only light in the darkness. We don't know what may have been going through their heads, through that gentleman's head. Once paranoia hits, things can really start slipping real fast.
Absolutely.
So all my thoughts are with that family, and hoping that they turn up okay.
Absolutely. All right, you guys ready for a quick break?
Sure.
Yeah. Let's do
All
it.
right, folks, stay tuned for a quick break. For our podcast fans, stay around. You're about to be hearing words from a show that you should be listening to. Stay tuned.
Welcome to Ghostly.
Pat, what are you doing?
What? I want people to know that we're a podcast that takes a deep dive into some of the scariest ghost stories.
But we don't do the creepy voices or weird sound effects. We debate the ghost stories. And aren't you supposed to be the skeptic?
I am, but they'll find that out once they listen.
Look, all you have to do is tell them to listen to Ghostly, and that our listeners get to decide which stories are real.
And which stories are just old folklore.
Exactly.
Download Ghostly wherever you find great podcasts.
Oh, jeez.
And we're back.
It was like we were never gone at all.
What'd you do during break, Count Panic?
During break, Bob, I went out and I counted all the Hues
How many
out there
Hughes
in the
did
world.
Hugh Hefner.
Hugh
Howard-
Downs.
Howard Hughes.
A lot of Hues out there.
Huey Lewis in the news.
Yes.
Huey, Dewey, and Louie?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or just one Huey?
Who is the other? Howard Hughes.
Howard Hughes. Yeah.
Think about that. Nobody names their kid Hugh anymore.
Baby Huey.
Baby Huey.
That's a good one.
Baby Huey. Yes. Count, can we raise my voice just a pinch?
You want to raise you?
Just a little bit.
All right, I'll crank you up.
Just very, very slightly.
All right, there you go.
All right, we're good now. Back to normal.
You don't want to know what I did during the break?
I was just saying something about my sound, but what'd
yeah.
you do
No,
during
go ahead.
break?
No, go
what'd
ahead.
you do
Talk
during
about
break?
your sound. No, it's
no,
okay.
No,
It's not
what'd you
that
do
important.
during break?
No, that's fine. It's
What'd
okay.
you do during
it's not
break?
that important.
No, I just want to know what you did during break.
No, it's okay. Do you really want to know?
I do.
Bob's thrilled about this because he's currently texting. I was on break. Ran down the street. Got myself a bucket from McDonald's. Got me
Which color
a
did you get?
bucket.
I got a ghost.
You got the white one.
Fitting. Got the white one from McDonald's. Got a spooky little ghost pail. So
Even last week I had all three on the show.
I know.
He interviewed them.
That was not a fun adventure by any means.
Which has got to be interesting because I know you don't eat McDonald's a lot.
No, I do not. No, I don't eat it at
So
all.
you're a vegetarian for
Yes,
to pull the curtain.
people know.
Yeah. So obviously not a lot of great vegetarian options at McDonald's.
Count, I'm getting word that I'm still very quiet. Steven, you are coming in clear. It's just me.
That might be
Good.
I don't want to crank you up too much here, Bob.
No. But I'm just saying that people.
I'll bring us down then.
Yeah, people are saying no. People are saying that my microphone's
Yeah.
really quiet.
I'll bring us down.
Okay. All right.
Is this better?
Yeah, no, go. But anyway, so you got your bucket.
I got my bucket, and
Yes.
so what? I eat meat, so like it was like, give me 3 double cheeseburgers, and here's $20 for a bucket. So it's all good. While I was doing that, I found ran into Dracula.
Oh, how's Dracula?
That's I haven't seen him for a few minutes. He said to say hi, Panic. Said,
Oh yeah, he's a good guy.
Said
He hasn't called in a while.
It's been a while.
I know. Yeah, he
Hope
said
it's okay.
he said oogity boogity boo. He said you would know what that means.
I know what he's saying. I
That
know
was
exactly
weird.
what he's saying.
I was like, okay, just gonna go in here and leave. Goodbye, Dracula. But, yeah, that was my time.
Oh, yes. Would you like to know what
Did
I
I
did?
buy you enough time to fix your microphone, Bob?
I can't fix anything. That's on him over there.
No, I think you're too loud, but you'll discover that later.
I'm going to be sitting there editing this, and I'm going to be like, oh, boy.
Now it's
That's
way
going to
too
be a
hot.
nightmare.
Just pulling the
Well, do you
curtain
want?
back. I'm just trying to buy time.
I don't know. They're going to message you, Count.
I'm gonna crank you down a little bit because you're
That's
too
fine.
loud.
I'm just saying. People on the other end are saying I'm
The
quiet.
deceased?
On the other end of the radio,
Oh, okay.
are saying I'm quiet.
I don't believe it.
I think it's
believe it's the dead.
I think people get when you're doing the stories, you hit a different range of voice. I think people are confused by that too sometimes.
Bob, you do have a reading voice. You have like a, oh, hey there, children. Let me read
Of
you
the
the
night.
story. Let me,
There's story.
of the
there's,
children
Would
of the
anybody
night.
like to know
Let
what I
me
did
read
during
you the
break?
story.
yeah.
I took up a new hobby.
What'd you do?
Kite flying.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I took up kite flying.
That's impressive because there's not much wind out tonight.
No, it's actually kind of fascinating. Did you know there's competitive kite flying?
I did not know that, but that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, there's competitive kite flying. I am now a competitive kite flyer.
I just thought you went insane and just started running around the parking lot in circles. But that makes a lot more sense now.
Yep, so I took up competitive kite flying. All right.
Competitive kite flying. I like it.
All right, so let's talk about the lore of the week, the meat and potatoes.
The
if you
meat?
will. But you guys can enjoy the meat. I'll take the potatoes.
I was gonna say. All
Yeah,
right,
no, I'm not.
let's do it.
We crack that joke every week.
Yeah.
You would know if you listened.
Yeah, you know what? I'm a very busy person.
You drive on the road often. You could just
I'm
throw
on
the show on.
I'm on the road.
You can
I've
listen
got
to me
shows
wherever
every Thursday.
You can listen to the
Like, I
podcast
don't-
wherever you listen to podcast at while you're driving.
Yeah, I mean, I'm busy listening
Yeah.
to Talk is Jericho.
So Chris Jericho ranks above me.
I also listen to the Jim Cornette podcast.
The Cornette Experience or the drive-through.
Oh, you also listen.
I do every week. Someday I'll have to tell people what I listen to. Anyway, folks, let's go back
Meat
to
and potatoes.
meat and potatoes.
Back on track.
So, over the past couple of weeks for the Halloween season, the October theme month is places you can perform that are haunted. So, haunted venues and haunted. We talked about the Comedy Store in LA. We talked about the Rave in Milwaukee. Last week we talked about the I just lost the count. What did we do last week?
We had the Comedy Store.
The
we
Comedy
had
Store. What did we do last week?
The Rave. last week.
The Palace Theater on Broadway.
You were
yeah,
here and you
Judy
don't
Garland.
Yeah, the ghost of Judy Garland. And apparently the Palace Theater is haunted by 100 ghosts.
99.
And Judy Garland.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm just letting you know the
That's
story.
fascinating.
So this week we've been diving all over the country. We're going back out west, and this time we're going to
I got this one.
I am so glad that you got this one, but let me explain before you come in. This week we're going to be talking about one of the best places in the entire world you could perform. If you make it here as a performer, you get a residency there, you are set for life. And that is Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. And one of the most haunted places on the Vegas Strip that you can go to is the Luxor. And you asked me earlier what the show's about, and I said the Luxor. And then you walked into the studio tonight, and you're like, "What are we talking about?" And I said the Luxor. So, Steve, tell me what you know about the Luxor before I dive into the lore of the week.
Okay, so let me made a little oopsies.
You don't say.
Yeah, So you said the Luxor, and I thought you meant Luxor, as in the settlement in Thebes, Egypt. And so, I mean, I have the information on the Upper Egyptian city of Luxor.
Uh-huh.
It has a terrific open air museum.
Uh-huh.
It's known as the world's greatest open air museum.
Uh-huh.
It has ruins of giant Egyptian temple complexes.
Uh-huh.
The complex of Karnak
Uh-huh.
is there. It is right on the River Nile, and it is on the West Bank. Includes the Valley of the Kings and Valleys of the Queens.
I'm familiar.
Valley of the Kings is where King Tut was found.
And where the curse was.
Yes, allegedly, according to Sir Howard Carter. The population of Luxor is 422,407. That's of 2021, with an area approximately 417 kilometers squared. That's about 161 square miles.
Yeah. How many miles above sea level is it, Steve?
I don't know that.
Oh, then you're failing all the fans.
So here's the problem, Bob. I did a whole bunch of research on the Egyptian place and not the Triangle Luxor Pyramid in Vegas. Which
by the way, it's the third biggest pyramid in the world.
You're right. The problem with all of this.
The problem is you don't research anything.
The problem is, like, I could talk about the Luxor, but this is a family show, Bob. And as Steve Michaels, what happens in Vegas for Steve Michaels stays in Las Vegas. So I cannot tell you those stories while we're on the air. When we get off the air, my friend, we got some stories to tell about what has happened in the Luxor. And let me tell you, those rooms are slanted.
I have never been to Vegas. Fun fact.
You're coming. We're doing a spooky Bob Anderson, spooky Steve Michael road trip to Las Vegas.
I always wanted to go I want to see the Hoover Dam.
Mm-hmm. That's outside of Vegas.
Well, I know, but you go to Vegas.
It's in the area, yeah.
Zach Baggins' museum is there.
With his room of Ghostbusters.
Yeah, there's a lot of things there. And then I would like to stay at the Luxor. I think that out of all the hotels, that would be where I'd want to stay.
The Luxor is my least favorite of all the hotels after Circus Circus. Do you want to know what Steve Michaels' favorite hotel to stay in is?
What's that? They're not sponsoring the show, by the way.
No, they aren't. But Steve Michaels is willing to pay ball if you're willing to sponsor him. Steve Michaels likes to stay at the Bellagio because Steve Michaels is a classy person. And then Steve Michaels will also stay at Vidara, which is a nice kind of a fancier, a little bit bougie hotel adjacent to. So those are Steve Michaels' haunts. So if you go to Vegas, if you see Steve Michaels in Vegas, Bellagio, that's where I'm going to be at.
Okay.
Be playing those slots.
You ready to talk about the Luxor and the curse of the
Luxor? Yeah, I'm sorry. I got on a tangent about where I like to gamble and how much. Don't get me on how much I spend, but you and I, we're going to go to Vegas. We're going to have a great time. It's going to be great.
Okay. So a lot of my research came to me from the Ghost City Tours. They help out with a lot of episodes, actually. They are one of the nation's biggest ghost touring companies. If you're going to take a private tour of a place, I highly recommend them. I've worked with them in the past. They're great people. So let's talk a little bit about the curse of the Luxor, where when you stay at the Luxor, you're gambling for your life.
Ooh, I like that.
Yes. For a hotel,
did you come up with that?
I did not.
Could have said yes.
Ghost City Tours, folks.
Could have said yes.
So I'm not going to steal their stuff. For a hotel and casino that shy of just 30 years old, the Luxor has had a significantly high number of murders, suicides, and unexplained deaths. Word on the Vegas Strip is that the Egyptian-themed resort is haunted more so than any other hotel and casino in the City of Sin. The frequency of these incidents have even led to suggest that the place is cursed. So which is it, cursed, haunted, or could it be both? The sky beam emitted from the top of the Luxor Hotel and Casino's pyramid is considered to be one of the most brightest things on the earth when emitting at full power. However, there is an unquestionably dark energy that permeates throughout the interior of the hotel. Speculation has Speculation has it referencing ancient Egyptian culture and failing to pay attention to crucial details, and has put a curse on the Luxor because of such. The Sphinx that guards the entrance to the behemoth of a pyramid is no doubt iconic, but it's missing something. Another Sphinx. According to texts concerning the ancient world in hieroglyphics, Sphinxes come in pairs. Their purpose is to guard the entrance, either the city or a bounty of treasure. The Sphinx that guards the Luxor is containing the entirety of the casino's wealth that lives contained in the 1,000 hotel rooms to its left on its own. The defense is not airtight and something that might have clearly gotten through. Tourists and residents alike, down on their luck or at their wits' end, have tried without hope. Whatever the cause, the number of suicides that occur each year in Las Vegas hotel room is staggering. The account figures are unknown due to the tendency of hotels not to report on such grisly incidents to the press. You're less likely to want to stay in a room where brain matter or a bullet hole once decorated a wall, or sit in a dining area where someone threw themselves over a railing and fell to their death. No matter how many reports are stifled by the privilege of controlling information, the news finds a way out. Sometimes it emerges as a whisper, sometimes it appears as an urban legend, and some tales are told to attract attention. You look like me, you want to say something.
I do. I do
yes.
want to interject here.
Yes.
So I'm the scientist out of the two of us. Right?
We haven't even gotten to the paranormal thing yet.
Right.
I'm a scientist. I play one on TV.
So I studied anthropology for quite a bit in school and in my spare time. I'm no Egyptologist by any means, but there was a point I really wanted to touch on that you mentioned, and it is the singular Sphinx.
Yes.
At the Great Pyramid of Giza.
Have you ever been, by the way?
I have not. I have not had the opportunity. I had one of my trainers, a good pal of mine, Jesus Rodriguez, Ricardo Rodriguez from WWE. He helped train out there for a long time. Literally had an apartment that overlooked the pyramids.
That's a cool place to live.
I'm bummed I never got a chance to go visit him out there. But the Great Pyramid of Giza actually had two sphinxes. And the second one over time got destroyed. The one that you see today is what's left of the second Sphinx, but there were two Sphinxes, and not a lot of people know that. So when constructing the Luxor, they took the iconography of ancient Egypt, and since people are only familiar with one singular Sphinx in Egypt, they only constructed one Sphinx, as opposed to the original pair of Sphinxes that were at the Great Pyramid.
Is that the proper plural term for a Sphinx? Sphinxes?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
But that's something I just wanted to point that out for just technical clarity, because that's what Steve Michaels does when he's on this show.
That's great, Steve.
Back to you, Bob.
All right. So the news may get out, but the reputation of the Luxors demonstrates that there are things that may never leave sometimes. The tortured souls that met their end amongst the mass-produced furniture, dusty remotes, and stained sheets seem to be stuck in the world, unable to move on. Hotel staff might not tell you, but there are rooms with more paranormal activity than others. Rooms that you shouldn't stay in, but the unsuspecting couple of family takes on the room they are offered, the one that's available, and proceed with their vacation thinking that nothing will happen. And we're going to talk about one of the rooms, the most infamous room at the Luxor you can stay at, is room 30018. It's a poltergeist activity there. Room 30018 features a metallic noise that clanks like clockwork every morning at 8:30 a.m., the kind of noise that no amount of hotel pillows can snuff out. The entity refuses to show itself to any guest, clearly wants the living out of its room as soon as possible. This is a ghost with a clear sense of personal space. There is another one known as the Deadly Blonde. Multiple rooms seem to be haunted by the same blonde woman, though it is unknown if her stay at the Luxor is business or pleasure. One thing that is certain is the Luxor blonde has a thing for strangulation. Not for her, of course, but guests who are unfortunate enough to occupy her bed. Numerous visitors have reported waking up feeling hands tightly gripped around their necks, and as they awoke grasping for air, their hearts ready to burst, and when they checked the room for signs of an intruder, no one was there.
Yeah, that's Vegas for you.
The majority of these guests also reported that right before being woken up with their necks in a ghostly grip, they were in the middle of a dream. Not just of any dream, they were dreaming of an unknown blonde woman. It's unclear what happens to you if you dream of a brunette. Vacationers at the Luxor seemingly experienced more paranormal activity while staying in a pyramid portion of the hotel casino as opposed to the towers full of rooms. The casino also wants to squeeze the money out of you, but the entities in the hotel want to squeeze your life out, dudes. Some hotel guests may not see the Luxor blonde, but they do wake up finding it difficult to breathe. Their heart racing in a strange way, or sweat drenching their pillows and sheets. Also, guests without a history of heart trouble have reported experiencing intense chest pains at the Luxor. It's hard to get a good night's rest when it looks like you're ready to shake off your mortal coil. If the sounds of fists hammering against a door in the middle of the night when security reports that the hallways are empty. A shadowy figure that exists in your periphery, just fast enough to move around by a nanosecond before you confront it. Whatever troubles the Luxor does not want you to sleep. It does not want you to even be comfortable. It just wants you to check out.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
So a lot of people associate the Luxor as just being the pyramid, and that being the entirety of the hotel casino, and it's not. As Bob stated, there are tower rooms, so you don't have to strictly stay within the pyramid. There is an additional tower that you can stay in with normal rooms that aren't all shaped weird. It's fascinating that most of the activity occurs within the pyramid, which I'm sure we'll get into at some point. But the activity of the poltergeist, of the knocking from the poltergeist is interesting. What's fascinating to me, Bob,
Yes.
is the consistency of the dreams of the blonde woman, along with the choking, the feeling of choking. The fact that that's being reported so consistently by so many separate guests, so many separate tourists, that lends more credence to it being something that's actually happening, as opposed to just a one-off kind of an event. I don't know about you, Bob, but I stayed at a hotel once that I didn't know going into it was haunted, in San Antonio, and when I got to my floor, the feeling changes, and you can tell it's like something's off here. When you're in the pyramid section of the Luxor, something just feels off.
Sure.
And I can't explain exactly what it is. It just feels weird. And it's nothing that feels like malicious or anything, but to me it just feels odd. It's an odd place.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the history of the place. I have some fun facts, and I'm going to actually talk a little bit about more than just the people taking their own lives, because there's been a couple of interesting things going on at the Luxor throughout its history. As I said before, the Luxor is just a little right around 30 years old. It debuted on the Vegas Strip in October 1993 after only 18 months of being under construction. At 30 stories, the Luxor Pyramid is 3/4 the size of the Great Pyramid of Giza. Its inspiration, the Luxor Pyramid's light beam, is the strongest beam of light in the world.
To go with size, I for clarity's sake, and for everyone's information, just for everyone's reference.
Yes.
the Luxor Pyramid is 350 feet tall. The Great Pyramid of Giza is 454 feet, and the Pyramid of Khafre is 448 feet. As you stated, the Luxor Pyramid is the third largest pyramid in the world.
It's a big pyramid.
Both ancient and modern, with the fourth largest being just slightly smaller, with that being the Red Pyramid, also in Egypt, coming in at 344 feet. So this is a very large, if you've never been to Vegas, this is a very large building that you can see from miles away as you're flying into, what is that, McCarran Airport?
Yes.
In Vegas.
As we were saying, the place is definitely lined with, Egyptian iconology. You can see all of that stuff if you go there. It is also home to the only full-scale reproduction King Tut's tomb outside of Egypt. The hotel was created initially under the Circus brand, because at one point they were pushing really for the family-friendly Vegas vibe.
Mm-hmm.
So they wanted the Luxor to be an attraction not only for adults to go and gamble or see a show, whatever, but they also have wanted to kind of bring kids in as well. And they had a theme park in there. However,
they had a boat ride as well.
Yeah, but however, it's not,
right.
that family-friendly Vegas thing went out the window a while ago.
Well, and they had a Nile boat ride in the middle.
Do they still have the Nile boat ride?
They don't, and there's a reason for this.
Oh.
It took exponentially longer to take the boat to wherever your landing was than just to walk it. So it became an extremely inefficient form of travel.
I prefer the unofficial. If I could be like, I got on a boat and got to float in a casino, I don't care if it takes me 3 times longer. I just want to say I did it.
You can you can still do that in at one of the hotels. They have Venice, and you can go on the gondolas. But at the Luxor, they end up getting rid of the pyramid. So that was they got rid of the Nile ride through the middle of the pyramid.
So let's talk a little bit about there's been some deaths there. We were talking about the people that took their own lives, unfortunately, which folks remember that here at Bob After Dark, we love and care about you very much. If you're going through any kind of mental thing, please reach out and get help. Help is out there for you. But let's talk a little bit about the accidental things. William Bennett, the then CEO of Circus Enterprises, was efficient. Too efficient, even. He managed to keep the Luxor opening cost as low as possible. The Luxor initial costs were only $375 million, a number dwarfed by its contemporary, the Mirage, which opened at $630 million to build. However, Bennett's financial efficiency did not come without a larger price tag: lives. Construction wasn't completed by the time the Luxor opened. As a result, some guests stayed in rooms that weren't entirely finished. The hotel's elevator system, called inclinators, due to how they follow the horizontal 39-degree angle to go up the pyramid, didn't actually work correctly. And not long after opening, the building itself was literally sinking into a soft spot, which was highly uncommon typically for the hard desert floor. It's quite likely that the resort's construction was a rush job and on a tight deadline that could barely be met. In process, at least 2 construction workers reportedly, as is believed that their deaths were covered up to protect the resort's reputation, died. Some local sources suggest that as many as 7 workers perished while building the Luxor, perhaps significantly due to the main pyramid's steeply sloping slopes. That's a rough sentence to get across. The Luxor's construction is considered to have extremely difficult and dangerous process. The resort's construction may very well remain the most treacherous construction process in the history of the Strip, and that says a lot. The fallen workers have not gone completely forever, because at times, really quiet parts of the hotel, people have said that they've seen actual apparitions of construction workers wandering the floors of the hotel taking last-minute measurements.
I have actually heard that myself.
Yep.
That's a very popular story.
And if you are back of house, there's tunnels that run under the casino, like any other casino probably has any kind of back of house tunnels or underground. People claim that they've seen these construction workers even in the tunnels below the casino. We talked a little bit about the unfortunate happenings there, but there was also a bomb incident that happened there as well. In May 2007, in the Luxor parking garage, a coffee cup was left on top of a car of a 24-year-old Luxor food court employee. When the employee went to remove the cup exploded, and unfortunately, there's a homemade explosive device inside the cup. The employee unfortunately perished from the shrapnel inside the bomb. 2 men were later convicted of creating and placing the bomb, but they didn't know the victim. Furthermore, there were no apparent motive on why they left the bomb there. So this place has just got nonsense going all over the place. Unfortunate coffee cup bombings, and then, the people perishing on their own behalf, and even these construction workers' deaths. This place just has a really nasty history, even to the point where was a disease outbreak. As if the Luxor didn't have enough history of troubling incidents, in 2012, the resort faced bacterial contamination that led 3 hotel guests falling ill. And pardon me, I'm no scientist, so I may pronounce this word wrong, but the Legionella bacteria, which causes Legionnaire's disease, was found in water samples at the Luxor, and the Luxor only, after testing. Though the Luxor did not respond appropriately, superheating and chloroheating the water system to kill the water-dwelling bacteria, this effort couldn't save one guest who unfortunately passed from the infection. Worse, after 2 cases of Legionnaires were discovered, the Luxor's water was tested, but no bacteria ended up on that test. The mysterious discrepancy has likely allowed the bacteria to somehow go undetected long enough later to contaminate and kill a third affected guest. Some people believe, and we talked a little bit about the curse of the Luxor, a lot of people believe that all these unfortunate circumstances are all due to the fact that the Luxor did not take the Egyptology serious, and of mocking, past pharaohs and mocking of a culture perhaps, or just, not mocking, but taking it in stride has led that place to have a curse upon it. And I find it very strange that the bacteria ended up in the water there, but not the rest of the strip. I know you're probably not one to believe in curses by any means, but it's very odd that all these occurrences happened here.
So, Legionnaire's disease is it's not extremely common, but it happens. There was actually an outbreak of Legionnaire's disease at the downtown Chicago Marriott.
I remember when that happened, yeah.
I believe in like 2014, 2013, from their fountain, from their water fountain.
Yeah.
It happens when the bacteria forms and gets a foothold within an enclosed system.
Sure.
So because of the all of these hotels have their own, they're all individual basic cities.
Yeah.
So they all have their own like water treatments, and they all have their own massive indoor water systems. So it's usually just kind of a one-way thing. So it doesn't surprise me that it was self-contained just to the Luxor, because it happens. I'm not going to say I don't believe in curses.
Sure.
I'm not going to say that I don't believe in Egyptian curses. I feel like that would be, I think that would be unfair to say. But I believe that there may be something to the fact if you're using iconography of these Egyptian gods and goddesses, and not being respectful of them, there could be something to that, Bob.
Sure. If we haven't heard from in a hot moment, Count Panic.
Bob, I believe in curses.
Oh, yes.
So I think this could be a curse that's going on right here. But, very, very sad, some of these stories that you're telling us here tonight. But The thing with hotels and haunted hotels or haunted motels, don't they gotta tell you if a room is haunted?
I
Like
don't
Steve,
believe
you mentioned
so.
going to a hotel. They didn't warn you that that floor was haunted or that room was haunted. You just felt it. But I'm sure they had stories before. Isn't that something they should warn you about?
Yeah, I mean, I think they should. I mean, I know when it was the Sheraton Gunter Hotel in San Antonio, for the
You
record.
guys should go back to the San Antonio episode. I talked about it.
Yeah, I was there.
Well, I know, but you were the reason why I did that episode. I did an episode about it.
But yeah, I got up to my floor, felt fine. The whole building, get up to the floor, everything feels heavy, and I'm just like, as soon as I got to my room, hit up Google, and was like, oh, okay, it's haunted.
Yeah.
Like, I as much as I would appreciate being told up front, hey, by the way, rooms in this place are haunted. That's bad for business, right?
It's a double-edged sword.
Well,
Like if like, everyday Joe was to be like, hey, just so you and your lovely wife know, we're going to be putting you in a haunted room, you probably wouldn't stay there.
Oh, I would.
You're not everyday Joe though.
Oh no, I'm
Like,
everyday
we're-
Bob. I'd be like, yeah, can I sign in? Can I get the
we're-
haunted room, please?
Yeah, we're a little bit of a different
It's-
breed.
It's a 50-50 thing. And I'll tell you, because I travel for paranormal stuff often, and I always bug front desk people. Be nice to front desk people, by the way. But I always ask about the ghost stories of hotels I stay at. If there's, obviously at a Modern Gaylord, I'm not going to have a ghost sighting. But if I'm at a place where, that joint we stayed at in New York, that would have been a place that I would have brought up and asked about, oh, what's going on up here. But, when it comes to that stuff, some hotels thrive on it, and they want people to know that there's a ghost story attached there, and it brings in big business. It also brings in annoying business, and I know this for a fact.
Mm-hmm.
I got friends that work at the Congress in the Congress Theater or the Congress Hotel in Chicago, and they tell me people go there all the time, and they'll book a room, and they'll just be annoying all night, wandering through looking for the Stephen King room that 1408's based on.
Right.
And I mean, that other than that are just paranormal investigators being annoying. And yes, paranormal investigators out there in the world, I am one of you. And I could tell you that you could be very annoying.
Super annoying.
And you could definitely bother poor people that are just trying to get their jobs done.
All the time.
So, yeah, there's a 50-50 chance. Sometimes it's cool, like, especially if there's a ghost story associated to a bar, tip your bartender, go and enjoy the drink and listen to the story of the place. Shots Melody Lounge and Justice, by the way, they have, like, the Resurrection Mary stories that go on there. Go there, listen to the stories, enjoy your drink, tip well, get out. But, these people that want to book them for hotels, again, you could draw the right crowd, and it might bring a big business, or you're going to bring annoying business.
Yeah.
So I could get where you're coming from. Me, I want the haunted room. Put me in one right off the bat.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. Like, there's a hotel in Galena where it's famously haunted.
Is that the Colonial?
I forgot the name of it.
It's the older one, though, right?
It's the big square
Yep.
one. Yeah.
Mhm.
Ended up staying there one time, and they fully turn into the fact that place is haunted.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's why they book all the rooms all the time.
Yeah, and
Yep.
and that's fine. But like if you're a Marriott hotel, you don't want people to be telling everybody, "Hey, place is haunted," because you're going to be booking that hotel no matter what.
Yes.
Like you're going to want to stay there anywhere because it's a Marriott. It's like okay, but like just everyday hotel.
Well, yes. Do you have anything else you want to add?
No, I'm good.
Yeah, I think.
Is there a hashtag panics take? Did we do that already?
Yeah,
Can
that's during the news stories.
can I? Well,
we can pass it off to him to see what he
Okay.
thinks.
See, I'm not. You give me the opportunity to do it like once, and now
Okay, now
I'm
do
like
it. Do what you got to
power hungry
do.
with this. Hashtag panics take.
Well, again, it's fascinating stuff. The interesting part, Bob, you were giving some facts. 1993, when it was built, which is interesting because you don't hear too many about haunted places that were, kind of more modern. It should be at least like 50 years old, you would think, for it to be haunted. But something from the 90s is haunted now. We're getting old.
Yes, and I'm waiting for the people playing Britney Spears late at night, pounding on the walls. That's the ghost I'm waiting for.
That's me. That will be my ghost.
Oh, yes.
That's how you'll have to summon the ghost of Steve Michaels, is just be blasting in sync and just pounding on the door.
Mm-hmm. Count, do you have anything else you want to add?
That's it, Bob.
Do you believe in the curse of the Luxor?
I believe in the curse.
Do you believe in the curse of the Luxor?
I don't know if I believe in the curse, but I do believe that there is activity going on at the Luxor.
There's a lot going on there. I think people like to jump to the concept of a curse, and maybe someday we'll do it. Maybe next time I bring you back, we'll do a curses episode.
I think that'd be
and we'll
fantastic.
talk about the Wrigley curse.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
the Billy Goat curse.
We won't go into, but let's do a curse episode at some point, talking about famous curses. And I don't know if this place has one. Maybe it's just got a lot of bad vibes going on there. I would say it's hard to press to say that there's not at least one injury during any major construction. And if you cut ties on the safety budget, somebody unfortunately is going to get severely hurt or pass away.
For the longtime listeners, I'm usually the grounded one here.
Yes.
I'm a lot more scientific based, and Bob is my more spiritual kind of guy.
I've become more grumpy and cynical in my old age, though.
That happens, that happens to all of us.
Yeah, right.
Do you believe the fact that the activity is happening within a pyramid is in relation to the shape of the building?
Yes. Sacred geometry, that's a whole thing. I was going to get into that, but that's a whole conversation. We'd be here for another 40 minutes being like, let's talk about sacred geometry, folks. And, all of that good jazz. Let me sum it up for you with a very complicated topic that dates thousands of years.
Yes, please do.
In one sentence, certain shapes hold energy according to the right people. And the pyramid happens to be one of those shapes that is a conduit of energy. And a lot of people believe that when you have pyramids or points, that you're going to have a lightning rod of energy and potential supernatural activity. There, I summed up the basics of sacred geometry in 2 sentences. There's probably some Freemasons out there like, come on, man, it's a lot more than that.
I wish the listeners could see the excitement on your face when I was like, tell them about pyramids.
Yes.
And Bob's face just lit up like I had just given him a puppy on Christmas.
Obelisks or anything like that. They're all conduits of energy. But the pyramid itself, there's a lot to it. More than I have to spare because we need to get off the show soon.
I will say this.
Yes.
I am more inclined to believe that there is activity going on there because of the shape of the building than I am to say that it's a curse.
Yes. I think the blonde woman ghost is an interesting thing. People dream about the blonde, an undescribed blonde, and then you woke up getting choked. It's a terrifying thought.
Right.
The metal clanking in that 1308 room, I don't buy it. There's probably a piece of machinery on that floor that's causing that you don't know about. Maybe a washing machines are going on there, like where the housekeeping's probably cleaning linen or something. And the fact that it's 8:30 in the morning, all hauntings happen at 3 o'clock in the morning. We all know that. And if not for all of our Ghoul Scouts out there that are taking notes, if something's happening every day at 8:30 in the morning and it's unexplained, we call that a residual haunting.
You've learned.
Yes.
I am proud of you, Bob. You have come a long way in 3 years.
Well, anywho, Count, do you have any closing words for the audience tonight?
Bob,
Panic?
Again, 3 years in the can. We'll go with 3 years in the can. Wish everybody a very safe, very happy Halloween. Remember, the veil will be at its thinnest in just a matter of a few days.
So, yes.
All
right. You have 2 minutes to get all of your plugs out of the way. 2 minutes starting now.
Brother, I've had matches shorter than that. I can get a lot done in 2
Okay,
minutes.
2 minutes. Start.
First off, I want to thank you.
This is counting with your 2 minutes.
I understand this is going to my 2 minutes. I want to take the moment to thank you for letting me come back on here, for having me back on here.
Yes.
This has been a joy to be here with you, to be here with Panic, to be a part of this 3 years in and still be showing up every now and then. That means a lot. I'm proud to see what you and the show have done.
Yes.
Now for the fun stuff that Bob hates.
Hold
you
on.
can-
I'm going to take ProWrestlingTees.com/Chicago Bear Hug for all of your Steve Michaels merch.
It is.
You can watch OVW every week on the Fight Network.
Yes.
Or you can download the Roku channel or any smart channel for the OVW app, and they'll have that on there as well.
Fight is available as an app on all devices.
Yes.
And it's 2 hours live every Thursday.
Okay, that's about as far as I was getting. Everything else.
No,
is
I
up
appreciate that. Thank you.
I was like, I could do some of this because I watch OVW.
Yeah.
No, the difference is you don't pay attention to what I do. I watch your stuff.
Bob, I will watch Bob Anderson any day of the week.
You could listen. That's the point.
Okay, I guess I could do that too. So you can watch me on OVW TV every Thursday. We've got 2 hours live on Fight. We're the only show. FITE.
Yes.
We are the only show that has. We're the only wrestling program that has a weekly live programming on Fight. Proud to say that. You can get my merchandise at Pro Wrestling Tees /Chicago Bear Hug. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Chicago Bear Hug. Those are my plugs. I've got this sweet Steve Michaels shirt. These will be available at all upcoming Steve Michaels appearances. Just give me a follow. Bob, again, thank you so much for having me. It's been a heck of a 3 years.
Yeah.
And I'm proud to see where we're at in 3 more.
Hopefully I'm not sitting here. Hopefully me and Panic have nice comfy chairs. Wow, 3 years, folks. I had this whole thing planned out, and I don't think I have much to say. Really thank you guys, the Children of the Night, my fans. Thanks, Count Panic, and I launched this, and at one point I was whispering in the mic talking about vampires, and now here I am being myself, and it's cool, man. I've traveled coast to coast, literally, and have conducted things in business for Bob After Dark. I've spoken in 7 states. I'll have to do that, the Sami Zayn tight thing where he puts all the tights where he worked. I've spoken in several states. People know about me literally coast to coast. I have people that listen internationally, and it's really cool because, like, Bob After Dark is like what I do for my life now, and it's everything I ever wanted my life to be. And if you would have told little Bobby Anderson at like 6, 7 years old that he'd be doing a paranormal radio show like Art Bell on Coast to Coast, I first thought Bobby Anderson would have probably been freaking out because you're talking to him. But if you would have said that he would have been like the next Art Bell, I would have. It's kind of wild. It's really strange, and come a long way. That's something I'm proud of, and I'm gonna hold back the tears here. But thank you guys for listening to us for the past 3 years. I have a really cool giveaway that I'm working on right now, and it's unfortunate that I don't have it ready for the anniversary.
The Bob After Dark basement tapes?
No, I will tell you. Do you guys want to know what it is? I am working on a custom Bob After Dark original Nintendo. It'll be purple and black. It'll light up purple. It joins my 2 loves of things, retro video gaming and my show. Details for that are coming. It's just going to take time to get it done. I already started on it. It's just, it came to me way too late what I was going to do with it. So I don't have any information about it yet, but when the time comes, you guys will get a chance to enter that contest because there's only going to be one of those things I'm not doing too. But no, thanks for 3 years, folks. I appreciate it. I will say, because you guys are here, the one thing that saddens me is my dad's not here to enjoy the 3 years. Both of you knew my dad, and it's really hard to have this enjoyment without Dad here. Mom listens. Mom's probably awake still listening now, but I'm sure Dad's listening wherever he wants to be. But Dad was my biggest supporter, and it's unfortunate I can't have my father here for my 3-year anniversary. But miss you, Dad.
Can I interject really quick? A lot of you know me as the co-host. Bob is my brother. His dad, I consider my dad. Yeah. And Dad's proud of you right now, Bob.
Oh, thank you.
I know he is. he's here right now.
Yeah.
I love you, man.
I love you too. All right, folks. We gotta get pictures done before the night's over. So thank you for watching and listening to another episode of Bob After Dark. I just want to wish all of you sweet dreams. Mom, good night. Dad, wherever you are in the universe, I hope you're happy and comfortable. And to Tiff, no matter where you are in the world, I just want to wish you the sweetest dreams of them all. Good night, everybody. And remember, the two most important rules of Bob After Dark are: not all who wander are lost, and as above, so below. Until next time.